Congratulations, you made it to the district level international speech contest. We will have a contestant briefing prior to your speech contest on Saturday, April 27th, but I wanted to make this video to share the majority of the information ahead of time. That way we are not going to be rushed the day of the contest. I ask that you review this video, write down any questions that you may have, and they can be addressed during the briefing on the day of the contest. At that time, we will also determine our speaking order for the contest, and I'll confirm the pronunciation of your name and your speech title. The contest is hybrid at the district level contest. We actually have a nice little mix of our contestants presenting online and in person, and judges will also be a mix of online and in person. All contestants, you will each be recorded by the district. There is no other recording or picture taking allowed during the contest itself unless specific permission has been granted by the chief judge, who is Judy Bauer, or the contest chair, who is Robert Wall, our program quality director. There will be time set aside after the contests for picture taking. The video recording of our first place contestant of the International Speech Contest, it's going to be submitted to Toastmasters International within a couple of days after the conference. All district winners for the International Speech Contest around the world will have their winning speech judged. Usually it's by past district directors around the world. The top winners are going to advance to the semifinals in August to compete, and then the winners of the semifinal rounds will advance to the World Championship of Public Speaking. Yay! And I'm really hoping that one of you will be there. The contest rulebook is your ultimate resource for all your contest-related issues. If you have not yet read the contest rulebook, please take some time before April 27th. We are using the speech contest rulebook for July 1, 2023 through June 30, 2024, and it does have a revision date of January 2023. I have already emailed each of you the current rulebook. When our contest begins, each of you will get to remain in the main room and listen to one another's speeches, unlike the evaluation contest the night before. When it is your turn in the speaking order, I will call you to the stage. If you are competing online, I ask that you unmute yourself, make sure your video camera is on, and then wait until I address you. The in-person contestants, I am going to confirm your audio and the recording with the Tech Masters. Online contestants, I will ask you to confirm your audio and video, and if you can see the timer on the screen. The online timer will have his or her electronic hand raised, and that should position them into the upper left corner of your screen. For in-person, I am not quite sure where the timing lights are going to be located in connection with the stage. I have not actually been in the ballroom where we will have the competition, so we will learn, both of us, we will learn all of this together at that in-person briefing. The timing cards you are probably very familiar with. When you are beginning your speech, the timer will simply have the timer background up. Hide myself so you can see these cards. Your target time frame is 5 to 7 minutes. When you meet that minimum target speaking time of 5 minutes, the green light will go on and it will remain until you hit the 6-minute mark. At 6 minutes, the yellow will go on and will remain up until the 7-minute mark. The red card will remain on until you have finished your speech. There will be no other notice that will be given to indicate that you may have gone over time. After each contestant has concluded, we will have the timer wait for 1 minute. I will ask everyone in the room to have 1 minute of silence while the ballot counter, while the judges are tallying their votes. After our last contestant, we will have silence in the room until all the judges have completed their ballots. The ballots have been collected and our chief judge has indicated that the ballots have been collected. Once the chief judge and the ballot counters have left the room, we're going to ask each of you to come back up onto the stage or online to ask that you get spotlighted. I will be presenting you with a certificate of participation, and then we'll have a brief interview with each person. The interview is going to be about 1 to 2 minutes. A couple of questions, usually something based off of the profile sheet that you submitted. In regards to the timing, so I showed what all the color timing lights are. You will be disqualified for your time if you are under 4 minutes, 30 seconds, or over 7 minutes, 30 seconds. Your timing is going to begin at your first verbal or non-verbal communication with the audience. I'll be introducing you by your name, title, and name. As soon as you start speaking, or if you say right away, "Thank you, Chris," your timing has started. If you are online and you start to say, "Oh, wait, hang on, don't start timing me yet because I can't see the timer," your timing has begun. We want to make sure any of those audio, video, technical issues are completed, they've been reviewed, everything is working smoothly, so that when you are actually introduced, you will begin your speech. You can, after you are introduced, absolutely acceptable. Take a few seconds, close your eyes, be ready, take your breath, and then begin. Nothing wrong with that. I do ask at the end of your speech to do something as simple for a closing comment as "Back to you, contest master." This will help signify that you are completely done with your presentation. I say this simply because I've been in that situation as a timer. I thought the speaker was done. They started looking down. They were quiet for a few seconds. The words that they used, it was a logical ending, but then they actually started talking again. We don't want to have any confusion for our timers. Once you have finished speaking, stay on the stage though. Wait there for me to come back up and thank you, shake your hand, get your applause, and then you can take your seat, and then that is when I'll ask for the minute of silence. You have to wait. Results from the International Speech Contest will be announced during the Hall of Fame Saturday evening after the dinner. So you don't get the announcements of who our winners are immediately after the contest. Just a warning if you're not familiar with how we do that presentation of awards for you. Eligibility. You should all be familiar with the eligibility requirements at this level, but I will be reviewing them because I have to. To be eligible to compete in any official Toastmasters contest, you must be a paid member of a club in the area, division, and district in which you are competing. Your club must also be in good standing. You do need to maintain eligibility at all levels of the contest. If at any time or any level it is determined that you have been or were ineligible to compete at a previous level, you will be disqualified, even if it was discovered at a later level and it had since already been corrected. Additionally, to compete in the International Speech Contest, you must have earned certificates of completion in levels 1 and 2 of any path in the Toastmasters Pathways Learning Experience or earned a Distinguished Toastmaster. Each of you have signed and returned the certificate of eligibility and originality and have been deemed eligible to compete. Disqualifications and protests. Protests are limited to I can't speak anymore. Protests are limited to eligibility, originality, and references to another contestant or their speech. Timing is going to be an automatic disqualification if you go over time or do not meet the minimum speaking time. Only contestants in that specific speech contest and the judges for that contest can lodge a protest. If there is an issue and you want to lodge a protest, You need to talk to me as soon as possible. I'll inform the chief judge because once that contest has been adjourned, winners announced, no further protests are accepted at all. And we should not take into consideration any protests that or information from the audience that they want a protest made. Already talked about the eligibility. Everyone's eligible to compete. Originality. This is going to be another area for disqualification. 25% or less of your speech can be devoted to quoting, paraphrasing, or referencing another person's content, but it must be identified during your speech. And when I say referencing another person's content, it cannot be another contestant or their speech presented during the same contest, during the same level. References to another contestant and or their speech is a disqualification. Let me give you a few examples on the originality based on situations I've encountered during previous contestant briefings. So as you are listening, you've heard this speaker give the speech in the past. You maybe heard him at the last level. The speech is still original to the speaker. It is not something you can protest for originality. If you as the speaker, if you go up there and you talk for 3 minutes, it's a monologue from Jimmy Fallon, that is something a judge or contestant can protest. If you give maybe 45 seconds or so of that monologue from Jimmy Fallon, you don't cite the source, however, that could be a cause for protest and possible disqualification. If there is a protest lodged, the chief judge is going to do some investigation. She's going to talk with the person initially who lodged the protest to find out a little bit more information about the situation. Sometimes it's just a matter of explanation of, nope, this is not an issue that you can protest, or we've already determined the issue. Maybe the judge is not familiar with you as a speaker, didn't realize that you moved to District 35 from District 14, that you'd been a member and a DTM at that point, when you transitioned here. They're trying to protest on your eligibility. The judge would find this out, talk with that, or the chief judge would talk with the judge, explain, no, they are eligible. It's not something that would move further in investigation. If, however, contestant or a judge comes up with the protest, I heard that speech that contestant 17 gave. It was a 1960 presentation from whatever speaker, whatever that situation was. Then, okay, that is something that we need to do more discussion and investigation on. At that point, chief judge will pull all the judges into a room along with the contestant. They'll talk a little bit about it, get more feedback and information from the speaker, and then the speaker leaves. The judges will talk a little bit more and conduct another vote to decide if the contestant is disqualified or not. Pretty sure none of you will have that issue, but just want to let you know what the process is just in case. If you are connecting online, if you are competing online and you lose your connection during your speech, I want you to rejoin the Zoom meeting as soon as possible. When you lose your connection, your time is going to stop, but then when you reconnect in, it is going to restart. And you need to start speaking where you left off. You don't get to just automatically restart your speech. If for some reason, maybe this only happened within the first 15, 20 seconds, we'll have you restart it. But if this is already 3, 4, 5 minutes into your speech, you will not be restarting your speech. If it takes you more than 3 minutes to reconnect, the contest is going to continue. We're going to move forward. We're going to bring the next contestant in the speaking order up to begin. When you rejoin into the meeting, you will slip into the next speaking order slot. You will not just be automatically moved to the last speaker slot. I know that has been a question in the past, so I wanted to tell you what that process is. I also want to take a little bit of time and review with you your judging ballot. You've probably heard this all at the prior levels, but I want you to be sure that you know what the criteria is that you are going to be judged on for this international speech contest. Every speech contest has its own ballot, its own judging criteria. I have emailed you the ballot, emailed it to you previously. I'll include it again on this one here with this link. On the front of the ballot, you have a breakdown of each of the sections, and then on the back side, there's actually a description of the various areas. The breakdown is pretty simple on the international ballot. 50 points is going towards analytical quality, delivery is 30 points, and language 20 points. So you could earn up to 100 points from that ballot. When we start looking into the content, the judges are going to be looking at your speech development, effectiveness, and the speech value. Did your speech have a strong opening, body, and conclusion? Does your closing statement, does it have an air of finality? Was your speech organized? Were your transitions smooth? Did you provide any support material, any quotations, illustrations, facts, figures, statistics, whatever it may be? Were you able to determine the speaker's purpose? And when I say that, as the judge, is the judge able to determine your purpose in giving the speech? As the speaker, are you able to hold the audience? Are you able to hold their attention and their interest? Is your speech subject appropriate for the audience in the room? Is that speech, whatever you're talking about, is it going to stay with the judge? Is it going to stay with your audience members next week, 3 months from now, a year from now? Is that audience member, is that judge going to still remember and think about you giving this speech however many years ago? Does it still have that value moving forward? The judge is also going to look at, are you as the speaker, are you contributing to the thinking of the audience? Are you challenging the audience? Did you touch the heart of your audience? Did you touch them in the heart or did you touch them in the head? It's all about the logic. And was your idea original to the audience? Is it something brand new or a new spin, a new take on it? What was the value of your speech? The delivery covers the physical voice and manner of how you are presenting your speech. So is your appearance reinforcing your speech? Was it profound, sad, humorous, instructional? What is the appearance you give? Did your body language support your points that you're talking about through your gestures, your expressions, your body positioning? Did you use your speaking area effectively? Once we get to in person, we will point out what that speaking stage area is. I don't know right now how large or how small the area is going to be, what the area is, because we have to video every contestant and we need the same video area for that. On camera, we know you are limited to your camera area. Are you standing? Are you sitting? How close or far away are you to your camera? As a judge, they could, if they want, mark you down in your score if you leave that speaking area. If they feel that you moving out of the speaking area is affecting their ability to judge, it is not a disqualification if you leave that speaking area, but they could mark you down potentially. Part of the delivery is also about your voice, the flexibility, the rate, the volume. Did you use voice modulation effectively to emphasize different points in your speech? Was your rate of speaking varied so that you were able to emphasize different points and you were conscious about doing this? As the judge, are they able to hear you? Are you audible enough to be understood? If you have a microphone or there's some tech issues, was it too much of a distraction for them? Or were you able to compensate if the microphone went out in the middle of your speech? that if you notice that and then you begin projecting a little bit louder. And then we have the manner. This is the directness, the assurance, and the enthusiasm that you show during your speech. So, as the judge, they're going to be looking, did you, as the speaker, believe your own message? Did you actually and confidently, confidentially, did you confidently address the entire audience? Did you address their response? We are hybrid this year. So now you also have to take into consideration, is the audience going to laugh? Are they going to sigh? Are they going to moan or groan because of what you said? How are they taking in that information? And did you, as a speaker, did you show enthusiasm and interest in the audience, and did you try to connect with them? The last part of the ballot for International Speech Contest is about the language, the appropriateness and the correctness of your speech. The judges are going to be looking to find out, was the language that you used compatible with your speech, with your purpose? And did the choice of the words that you used, did it help promote understanding for your audience? We have our counter and grammarian at every meeting. So we are also looking, the judges are going to look for your use of grammar. Was it correct and acceptable? Was the pronunciation clear to promote understanding? And were there any opportunities for you to have used better words? Or did you actually master the words that you chose? I always give, when I'm the chief judge, I always give this suggestion when I explain with the appropriateness and correction, or the correctness. If you are giving a speech and you're doing a little bit of a dialogue between a mom and their little 2-year-old, 3-year-old kid, and the little kid goes, Mama, 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 I gotta go potty, I gotta go potty, I got pee, pee, please, can I go? That is what a 2-year-old does. That's what you would expect. You normally would not expect a 2-year-old, excuse me, mother dearest, I need to be excused to use the restroom. That would be correct language, but it's not appropriate to that part of that story. So just kind of keep that in mind. Be familiar with the ballot. Take some time, review it, be familiar with what you are going to be judged upon. I want to thank all of you for taking the time to watch this video. Again, it was meant to cut down on the amount of time for the in-person briefing, that I was able to go into more detail now so that you could be better prepared going into the contest on the 27th. Be sure to bring your questions to the in-person briefing. If you want to email me, feel free between now and then, but just be aware I'm going to be up in the mountains doing some bear hunting, or more appropriately, looking for bears. So I will not always have internet connection. When you do check in at the conference, when you pick up your program guide at registration, the final times and the locations are going to be printed in there. As of right now, for what I am aware of on the agenda, the International Speech Contest Prep and Briefing is scheduled from 2:30 to 3:30 p.m. on Saturday, April 27th. This is the time where you can walk the stage, test your microphone and the audio levels, work with the AV staff then. We're going to draw for the speaking order. That's when I'll confirm pronunciation of everyone's name, the speech title, and answer any questions that you may have. The contest is scheduled to begin at 3:40 and end by 5:10. And as I said earlier, the results are not going to be announced until later in the evening after dinner during the Hall of Fame. I'm going to see all of you on Saturday, April 27th, or maybe in passing on Friday the 26th. Remember, if you have questions, bring them to that in-person briefing or email me ahead of time. Relax, have some fun, rehearse. You got this. I'm excited to see you all compete. Take care. Have a great day.